Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 56 of Floating Through Film. This week, we start the episode, or the series that I pick, Ozu. And honestly, this one is kind of big for me because I love Chaplin and Vertov. I do, but to me, Ozu is even another level. I feel like he's one of my really all-time favorites.
Honestly,
and that's true. That's true. Okay, well, even though not yet, because the first Ozu, not this week. And next week we're not also doing talkies.
Never mind.
So
you're not bad.
we got some time. Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, okay, but I guess I am finally getting talkies.
Well, I guess Chaplin did have those two ones, but most of Chaplin was not talkies.
No, but that's the thing. Ozu is still, I guess that's basically what this episode is about. Why we're doing starting an Ozu series with no Ozu movies is because that's what's kind of crazy. Most people would probably think of Ozu as obviously a talkie director. That's why that's what he's known for. That's what Ozu's you thought of, right? Think I think of Ozu's colors. That's one of the first things I think of.
Yeah.
But the reason why I wanted to start an Ozu series with two silent movies made in the 1920s is that's the whole point. Is Ozu is he's a silent generation director.
Okay. Yeah.
This is what he was watching. This is who he was influenced by. And this is a book I'm going to refer to throughout the episode, so I'm just probably going to say Bordwell every time because the author's name is David Bordwell. He's a famous film.
You can call him David.
No, I'm going to say Bordwell.
Because call him David.
I feel like saying Bordwell every time is...
No, I've only read one of his books. I feel like I can't do that, but...
He doesn't know him that well,
No.
With all due respect...
But I wish, as much as he knows about Ozu, I wish I knew him better, damn. Yeah. But no, I'm gonna refer to his book a lot because it's helped me and kind of give me a frame of reference about Ozu. But yeah, he points out that Ozu, a lot of people when they think of Ozu, and I'm about to ask you this question a little bit, what do you got? What comes to your mind when you think about Ozu? But one of the first things a lot of people would probably think about is he shows Japanese life very well. He's maybe even very just quote unquote Japanese, whatever that means. Especially just blind. If you don't watch Japanese movies and you watch an Ozu movie compared to, just like a Godzilla movie, you might say, "Oh, Ozu's so Japanese." Whatever your traditional definition of Japanese is in your head, you'd be like, "Oh, see, Ozu, he understands that or something."
Yeah.
But Ozu, to a certain degree, that's definitely there. He definitely understood Japanese life extremely well, obviously. Yeah. But the big thing, Bordwell always he points out, and you can really see it too in the way his movies are made is. You could tell his influences mainly were the American cinema, before anything else, definitely before Japanese movies.
Yeah.
Because there's I don't have the exact quote, but he says something where basically he didn't even watch American movies all the way. I mean Japanese movies up until the 1930s. He basically just the way how
late too, so.
he started late. Yes. Japanese did. Yes, exactly. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and most classic foreign filmmakers were influenced by American cinema.
No, that's a big point. Yeah.
Kurosawa was influenced by John Ford. French New Wave filmmakers were obviously influenced by American auteurs, and then Fellini even said early in his career he had a quote I don't know the exact quote, but he basically said I mainly know the American stuff basically when it comes to what he's
John Ford, Lubitsch, however we'll talk about Chaplin, obviously we've done before, but you wouldn't mention Ozu with American cinema initially when you thought of him. I mean, at least to me, even I wouldn't have thought of him initially like that, until really reading about it more like that. But that leads me to the question I wanted to ask you guys is. Okay, first question, I guess, because there was two questions. First one, what comes to your mind just when I say the word Ozu in general? Because it is to me at least, it's a special word, Ozu.
Yeah, it's honestly
his name is great alone, but
honestly,
so what comes to your mind? Because he is to me one of the most visual filmmakers.
What comes to mind is mainly an image, and it's the image he usually uses of kind of. Specifically, when a family comes home for the day and they're all he has the shot of looking through those multiple doorways through in the kitchen living room area. Yes. And they're all sitting down and stuff. That's kind of the main maybe one person's standing up, maybe walking by, just kind of that specific shot, which he comes back to a lot, obviously. So.
Yes. What about you, Blake? Is there any?
So this is gonna be. I feel like mine's cornier than Luke's, but
if you have a serious one too. or a different one too.
I feel like
but yeah,
it's also
yours.
serious,
No, the
too,
one you have
because-
is good. The one I have is good.
Well, it's just Setsuko Haru. Like the
Okay.
close-ups
Oh,
of Setsuko
oh.
Haru's face, dude.
Oh,
Like, that's
okay,
what I think
okay,
of whenever
okay.
you think.
I
Like,
thought you were
whenever
gonna
you first said Ozu, like that's what I
Okay,
think of is
okay,
like close-ups
okay.
of Setsuko Haru's face.
No, the reason I thought you were going to show us the comedy or the.
Well,
comedy
no,
one
no,
you were
no.
talking
That
about.
too.
You showed it
That's
before,
also
yeah.
amazing.
No, but the Satsuko Hara in close up is kind of. I told you guys I have like kind of a theory of what comes to your mind when you think of Ozu, and it's part of what makes his movies great, in my opinion. Is he kind of like basically repeats stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
But it's not like repeating like if you watch a bad movie or something and you're like, or if like you watch a sequel to a superhero movie, like, oh, they just did this in the first one. Like
Yes.
his repeats never feel the same,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
you know,
yeah.
and that's what makes him so special. It's like, in one sense, you feel like you're watching just the same thing. You know, it's another family shot. You know, it's like another family,
Yeah.
but like it's not a bad way. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like you could do that. You could say that based on just what the
Yeah.
story is. Ozu's, telling just another family drama about a woman getting married and
Yes.
a daughter getting married and leaving the house. And like that's literally what most of his later movies become. It's just a daughter getting. They hinge around a daughter getting married.
Yes.
But like, what makes Ozu so special is within that kind of like not confined, but that like single narrative element of a daughter getting married or a single event like that. He's able to do so many different things, like that it's crazy. But
Yeah.
yet the
And, like,
image.
I think another thing that benefits his work from that is that like every time I go and watch an Ozu movie, like there's a sense of familiarity with it all. Like I feel comfortable within these characters again. I feel like that's a big reason why.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's kind of what I want to point out throughout this episode, and that what connects us with these two other. Lloyd is not technically the director, but he had a lot of control over his movies. He's basically the director. The way we talk about it is so basically with Lubitsch and Lloyd and also Ozu is they were very good at creating their own kind of language, to where you can understand what's going on based on how they're telling the story. And that's kind of like Wardwell calls them norms. Basically, is once you set up how you're going to tell the story through how connected you're going to be to the characters or how not connected you're going to be in certain elements like that. Once you get used to that, it feels exactly like you're saying. You get that feeling really well to where it feels like you're very familiar with them, especially his later ones. Where he becomes very rigorous, and I want to get it more into next week a little more about maybe Ozu specifically, like the kind of form elements that I think makes him so great.
Yes.
But I want to stick to just maybe his connection to the American cinema. So when I first said I was doing this, or especially after you guys watched it, what comes to your mind initially of either one too? Because I know it's maybe different for both. So what comes to your mind is like, do you see any similarities?
Okay.
Yes. Do you see any, or
Yeah.
you can also disagree and be like, "There's none at all." I don't see
I
any.
struggled quite a bit. Like,
Well, so for the marriage circle, I think it's easier for me because it's family in crisis, basically,
I-
which
yeah,
is a
I-
lot of what Late
Yes.
Ozu.
Yeah,
is
I kind
or
of
like what Ozu just in general.
I
It's
kind
like
of
family
related
crisis,
to
so-
not specifically like the traditional like Ozu marrying his daughter. I kind of thought of like the flavor of green tea over rice Ozu, about like a couple having marital issues, basically.
Okay.
That's kind of mainly what I thought of.
Yes.
But I don't know how.
Like a family drama, like kind of what Blake was saying. a little bit.
Basically relaying what Blake was saying.
Yes.
But
Is there anything else specifically, maybe?
But well, the freshman.
Yes,
the
freshman
The
too,
freshman, I also like that one's the harder one for me, just because like he's like I have seen a few of his silent
Yes, you
comedies,
have.
so it makes sense with those ones.
Yeah,
But,
I
like,
connected
some
to
of-
mainly the
with
silent
some of the
comedies,
drama,
yeah.
with some of like the dramas and
Yes,
stuff. I'm
yes.
like I don't see the connection as much with that, but
the
I
thing,
don't know.
yeah, well, and not even just his silent comedies too. I mean, his talkie comedies usually dealt with youth in some way,
Yeah.
specifically like more
Yeah,
younger
for sure.
kids, but still youth. And basically, I relate to more like Good Morning Ozu rather than like dramas. But I'm honestly curious what you think, like what you say, like.
So there's a few. I mean, Bordwell points out some, and there's a few that kind of stood out to me. And I think you'll maybe I think Blake especially, he's seen a lot of the earlier ones, even maybe more than I have. So one aspect is Ozu loved kind of showing, not love, maybe is the wrong word, but he showed maybe the male ego falling in some way.
Yes.
Kind of being like
Yes.
that
So
kind of
big.
masculinity.
Yeah.
And Ozu's way is way different than both Lubitsch and the freshman do it with Lloyd.
Yes.
But both of them come back to those kind of themes over and over again. And it's not a coincidence that Ozu also loved those kind of themes. because but also does in his own.
Say that for sure.
Oh yes,
especially
yes.
a lot of styles.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
And it's not like even like a like outward bolstering ego. It's
No,
like
no.
an internalized usually. Especially
Yes,
like,
yes.
yes.
No, and that's kind of another connection, especially with Lubitsch, that I see is, like this is Lubitsch's Wedding Circle is a silent movie, but it feels like all the characters are talking all the time.
it does, yeah.
You know, it just feels like alive in terms of talking.
You can see like in part of the movie where like one of the characters mouths bitch. You can like tell.
Yes.
Yes.
But at the same time, the title cards there is some dialogue in the title cards, but there's not that many title cards.
Yes.
But yet you still get that feeling of talking without ever hearing them.
Yes.
And that's by just all like kind of all of it's done by the body. You know,
Yes.
all of the communication is done by the body.
Yes.
And that's another thing with Ozu, he doesn't have a lot of talking, but they still feel like the characters are communicating a lot because it's all done by the body. You know, like just when the characters moves
like
even
that,
a little bit.
That video I sent you guys, whenever I think it's the girl that's like basically trying to break up the other marriage, and her husband. I sent you guys that video where she grabs him by the arm and says, "I just need love," and then like his reaction. I feel like I've seen Chishu Ryu actually have that face in an Ozu movie before.
I mean, and the fact that dude, he's also the same guy in A Woman in Paris.
Yes, exactly.
I was
yeah.
wondering
Adolf
why
Hitler.
they
Oh, dude, he's the best.
That makes
Oh,
sense.
he's so good. I mean, I love him. He's my favorite
he's
person.
awesome. I
in
was
Woman in
thinking,
Paris. Because I actually put him in
yeah.
one of our lists too.
Yeah, you
like
did.
I forgot which one.
Yeah,
The actor draft.
yeah,
Actually, I
actor
picked
draft.
him. So
I was literally the whole time I was like, this guy looks. There's no way that they're the same guy, but it kind of looks like the guy from Woman in Paris. But
no, it is the same guy. It's the same guy.
Okay.
No, but yeah, that's one of the things, like, kind of just showing the male ego. Like, he uses the phrase "comedy of embarrassment," to where basically you're showing an embarrassed scene from a detached perspective. You know, where like the camera is not actually like on the character's side necessarily.
Yes.
So it's more, especially with Lubitsch, where it's way more detached.
Yeah.
You know, where like I'll use this phrase because I want to mention it over with Ozu, you know, throughout the episodes, is overt narration, where it feels like you can basically feel the filmmaker in between, right? Where like, because I guess we can kind of just go into the Wedding Circle, and maybe I'll mention some of the other points while we go through it. But like in the Wedding Circle, with the title cards, I notice a lot of times you can tell like the title cards are like basically making fun of the characters, kind of, you know, or they're talking to the audience like we're against the characters almost, you know, like we're watching them from a detached perspective.
Yes.
Where usually it's like the camera is like on one of the characters' side. You know, it feels like where like the music is, you can tell the good guy versus bad guy because of the music or something.
Or like
you know?
the angle.
Yes, the angles. Yeah, one person gets the close-ups.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
the other
yes.
person doesn't. But with Lubitsch, just no one gets. All the characters are kind of like in their own way, good and bad.
Yeah.
Like, because I have a really good quote for Lubitsch I wanted to mention in the beginning, and you'll see like a lot of this applies to Ozu's movies too. So in this production, I was experimenting. My desire was to create a story that would reflect life as it is lived by thousands of married couples, just everyday people that we meet all around us. In the back of the idea was a desire to create a new form, a different technique. I mean, the process is employed in developing a story along natural human lines, with the characters all flesh and blood people who were just a little bit bad and not too good. There was suspense, interest, comedy, human beings reacting to given situations that they do in life. There is not one single change I would make to do if I had to do it again. Because I guess in the late 1920s, he picked this as his favorite movie.
Okay.
He had made Lubitsch, because he had already made a lot.
I was about to say his favorite movie of all time. I was like
that he had made. Okay,
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Simon
No,
Wong.
And I'm sure you guys have heard the thing of Billy Wilder had a sign that said, "How would Lubitsch do it?" in his office.
Oh yeah, like I've seen.
Yeah.
I'm sure you might have seen him talking about the Lubitsch stuff specifically.
Yeah,
have you seen that clip?
No, I haven't.
He talked about how basically he would explain to it was like basically to explain Lubitsch to like a group of people. He said that basically one time there was this prompt where Lubitsch asked this group of students to make a scenario of a king catching the queen cheating on the like the royal guard servant. Make that a funny scenario, and people they all try to come up with scenarios. But when Lubitsch did it, he did it where the king walked out and took one of the belt holsters for all his stuff, and and then walked away, and then came back realizing it's too small, and then looked back and saw his longer one, and then he put it together that the guards.
Okay.
And so I was like, dang, okay.
Yes.
That's kind of how he explained. Lubitsch could
Yes. Just with a little object or something, you can imply so much.
Yes.
And that's like an amazing Lubitsch thing, dude. And obviously Ozu is great at that too. But I mean, Woman of Paris is also really good at that because Bordeaux mentions 3 specific movies. He mentions A Woman of Paris, The Marriage Circle, and The Freshman as 3 kind of like movies that Ozu liked a lot, or at least he mentioned. And we already did A Woman of Paris, so that's why I picked these 2. Yeah. But I definitely want to pick A Woman of Paris if we ended it because I still think it's my favorite of these 3. But
it's my favorite.
I might need to watch The Wedding Circle a few more times, and I might like it more because I could see it has a strengths for sure, like as we're about to talk about. But yeah, I've been talking a lot. So what do you guys think specifically of The Wedding Circle?
I mean, you basically kind of outlined it. I thought it was incredibly interesting, Lubitsch's style, because this is my first Lubitsch silent comedy too. I'm a huge fan of To Be or Not to Be, and just like the fact that like it feels very like simplistic. It feels kind of bare bones, but he still makes it work really well.
Even the sets are a lot of bare bones, a lot of it.
Yeah, and I kind of struggled with it a little bit because like I feel like it was more of like I appreciate it more than I really like super like enjoyed it, but I'm really interested in hearing what you guys think about it. So,
what about you, Blake?
No, so this is my first Lubitsch. I had
really?
seen Lubitsch before, so I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't expect it to be as funny as it was. Honestly, I found myself laughing quite a bit, even though like what it's talking about is just. Oh, I guess it is supposed to be kind of funny. Like it's just like why. Or just like these two like it's a marriage circle for a reason.
Yeah.
Or like
basically, he's like the couple that actually love each other is like getting disrupted by really unfaithful, like terrible people. Basically.
Yes, like, and I don't know. It is just inherently a funny thing, I guess. But that's just something I wasn't expecting was how much fun I'd have going into it. So
and it's just like how much fun he's almost having with trying to get around the rules of obviously like basically because everything's suggested. Like there's really there's no actual sex scenes or anything like that. But it still feels like everyone's cheating on everyone or something. Yeah. Everyone's always plotting to, have an affair with someone or divorce someone. That's the circle. That's kind of the way he's kind of making fun of with The Wedding Circle.
Yeah, and and one of my favorite parts, like showing that is just like whenever the guy in A Woman of Paris, I don't remember his name, but that like the older gentleman, he is giving back his hat, the other guy's hat. Because he realizes it's not his. It's
that's kind of goes what you were saying.
Exactly. Yeah, like that's how he figured out his wife is cheating on him or something.
Yep.
But he gives it back to him, and he's like, "I've been waiting for someone to take this wife off my hands for years," or something like that.
Yep. No, because that's kind of his whole thing. Is like she's trying to get a divorce, but not really. But he wants a divorce, but not really.
Well, it might be if she divorces him, she might not get money.
The money, exactly.
This is just the whole comedy of misunderstandings, basically. Like
yes.
Yeah.
Well, comedy of misunderstandings on one side, and on the other side, it's just like people actually trying to like manipulate everything.
Because there is like those two parallel couples.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, one side is more like. Not sinister is the right word, but a little more plotting, maybe a little further apart already.
They're manipulating.
And then the other one is supposed to be the good couple that kind of almost falls until they get back together.
Yeah.
But yeah, because dude, I wanted to read before I guess we started the movie. I wanted to read another like quote I found from this kind of relates to the Lubitsch touch you were talking about, and I wanted to read it because it sounds like exactly how you would talk about something in an Ozu movie. Because he says. Quote, a poignant sadness infiltrates the director's gayest moments, and it is this counterpoint between sadness and gaiety that represents the Lubitsch touch, and not the leering humor of closed doors. So really that first part of, like, you almost feel that counterpoint between sadness and happiness in, like, every moment.
Yeah, definitely. Like, that's basically, like, how Ozu's acting is. Like, and the Ozu characters, like, basically, the start of the movie is them trying to hide their, like, true feelings. And then as the movie goes along, it wavers away, basically, like, it erodes, essentially.
Yes. Or then there's some big moment and it cuts to after it or something.
Yeah, yes.
But yeah, we'll get to the Ozu specifically later. But yeah, we'll get right into the marriage circle. So it starts kind of, at least it gives us like an opening, from the opening scene, it gives us like kind of clue that this is not a happy couple. Because it shows like, this is another Ozu staple of like close-ups of like holes in socks or something like that, like to give us a sign of, they're basically not doing that well, I guess, technically.
He loves shots of just random objects.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about late spring.
Yes. I mean, that's kind of what I should have mentioned this earlier, but that was a staple of both of these directors.
Okay, yeah.
Where the close-ups, the cutaways to close-ups of objects have nothing to do with the characters or what they're seeing. So that's why it feels purely from the director doing it. You know,
Okay,
so it'll be
yeah.
like, let's say they're arguing about a wedding ring or something, and the two characters are talking. They could still be talking to each other, but the camera might cut to the wedding ring close up.
Yeah.
When normally, if it was based on a character's perspective, it would only cut to the wedding ring when the character looked at it or something.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but that's where it feels like the camera's kind of
Yeah,
just
he's
detached.
observing, basically.
Yes,
The camera's
exactly,
observing,
exactly. Yes. Yeah, we see that. We kind of get the vibe of, they don't like each other.
Yes.
That's kind of how this movie starts. So yeah, I don't want to go beat by beat, obviously, because especially we've been talking about it. Like the main things I talked about was at the beginning.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
but yeah, stop me if you guys want to talk about something in the movie, because the next scene starts with kind of a good opening of. This is another example of Lubitsch, just with the hint, you kind of get the whole idea of the relationship. Because the letter she gets from her friend says something like, you guys have already been in Vienna for 2 months, and yet you never contacted me.
Yes.
And that kind of already tells us, like, they're friends, but they're not really that good of friends, because why would she not have told her until 2 months? Yes. And we learn the reason is because, her marriage is not good, and she obviously has, like, the good marriage, she's the happy couple.
Yes.
And there's obviously that kind of jealousy already. So... I kind of already like that from the very beginning. We don't even meet the friends already. We already kind of understand the relationship.
Yes.
And that's why it makes sense when right away she's like already trying to cheat with the husband,
Yeah.
And then is this next part where we see her get into the taxi with the stranger?
Exactly. Yeah.
I love this part of it because he sees her getting in the car with the stranger.
Yes.
But he thinks that that's her, like, what she's cheating on him with. But then later on we figure out that that's the husband of her friend, basically.
No, this is the kind of misunderstandings thing you were saying,
like,
right? Exactly.
It's like it's misunderstandings, but also just like
every character has something different.
Yeah.
This is what I love about Lubitsch too, because I've watched a few of his movies recently, where it's like every character in the room, like, thinks something different about the same situation or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Where like none of their thoughts are in the same place, and we as the audience are the only one that knows that, and that explains all their actions in the scene.
Yes.
But they don't know that, but we do. Because we're the only ones that can know, like, something that all three characters don't know.
Yeah.
And Ozu does that, and that's one of the great things that you can do with, like, kind of detached perspectives when you're filmmaking.
You definitely should watch Top Hat, because Top Hat, it's a musical, Fred Astaire musical.
Okay.
And basically the whole movie is basically just like people misunderstanding what, like, who's chasing after who, like, in love with the other person. I thought it's a movie that kind of reminded me a lot of that aspect, but.
No, dude, I do need to watch some Fred Astaire.
Yeah.
I love some good dance scenes, honestly. Especially if it's just one guy,
I don't like how you're dissing the
No, I wasn't. That wasn't. What? Why was that? No.
I see what your intentions are.
There was no bad intentions there.
There definitely was.
Damn. So where were we? Okay, yeah, we're basically at the part where now she's kind of like trying to cheat with the husband, and this is like, I noticed this because I'm pretty sure it's in have either of you seen Angel before? Lubitsch's movie. It's called Angel.
Marlene Dietrich. I'm behind on Lubitsch.
Okay. I mean, yeah, no.
I think I've only seen To Be or Not to Be.
It's just called Angel.
Okay.
I think I've only seen To Be or Not to Be and The Shop Around the Corner. I don't think I've seen anything.
I haven't seen Shop Around the Corner yet, but no. See, those are his two later ones.
Yeah.
I guess technically later ones, but no. But in Angel, there's a very similar scene of like three people where the woman's trying to there's like two people that are cheating on the husband that doesn't, or the wife that doesn't know, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
Basically, a spouse that doesn't know, where there's a friend cheating with the other spouse, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and it's next to a piano too, and because in this one it's like they're all next to a piano.
Okay. Yes.
Because the scene ends with like the wife, she's innocent, but like both of them kind of know, they like each other basically.
Yes.
No, it's because the scene ends with some good close-ups and stuff. But yeah, after the close-ups, we get kind of two parallel, like one is a quick scene of Menju, I call him Menju, that's his real name, but like her husband, the original, like
Mizzy's
husband.
I called them the Rich family because
the Rich. Okay, yeah, all right, that's fair. Yeah, we need a way to distinguish them too, because that is kind of another thing that's that Ozu got from Lubitsch and a lot of these early directors is using parallels throughout the movie. kind of like between maybe two couples in this case, or like maybe between two daughters or something, you know, where like you can kind of you can see the similarities and differences between the two. And that's obviously the case with these two couples. You're supposed to kind of compare them to each other. But this is a classic case of where we as the audience know stuff where where none of the characters do, where basically everything that's happening none of the characters know, kind of. And what I mean by that is like, so the husband is trying to get a divorce, right, where he wants her to cheat, basically, so he can get a better divorce. And but she is kind of basically in a way trying to make him jealous, almost. It's kind of implied. And that's what she's trying to do, is she's trying to make this other guy cheat with the poor husband, we'll call him. But he never cheats. So, like, he never actually does. Yeah, because he actually, you know, he at the end of the day, I guess, and the movie does end with, because in other Lubitsch movies, we do get people cheating and stuff, you know, where it is more common. But in this one, it's almost just always, it's like all implied and stuff, and like, it never really actually happens. Yeah. Like, the closest it happens is
that dream sequence. Dude.
Well, is it a dream?
I didn't think it
exactly.
was.
No, that's a great example of Lubitsch trying to see what he can get away with, almost, because, like, is it a dream? Because if she's cheating in real life, they probably wouldn't have allowed it, you know. But it's not a dream. She thinks she's dreaming.
Whoever plays Mizzy did a great job telling her husband, like, the next morning or whenever he walks in, basically, because he sits down in the same chair and he was like, the guy kissed me in that chair or something like that. You guys remember that?
Wait, Mizzy, you mean the other girl?
Mizzy?
No, that's the other girl.
Oh, okay,
that's the poor husband, or the virtuous one,
the virtuous wife.
The virtuous wife, because she only cheats in a dream, technically.
Yeah, because like her husband comes home and like sits down in that chair or whatever, and she was like happened in that chair. But like the way she explained it definitely did not sound like it was a dream to me. But
no, because that's.
But the way she acts the rest of the movie, it kind of has to be.
No, yeah.
I feel like, but.
It's kind of just, the movie's more about, she had those desires anyway. And it's kind of trying to show that, like, even if she never really did it, which I guess technically she did, too, in the movie, because I think that guy does actually come into the place.
He does, yeah.
And so she thinks she's dreaming, but is she really? You know, that's kind of the whole point. Like, it doesn't really matter. Because basically she kind of admits, in the first place, that she was thinking about him in the first place, even if she was dreaming.
Yeah.
That's just a good example of, like, kind of getting, like, we get into the characters' heads almost by the way they lie, more than, like, the way they tell the truth and stuff. I guess, like, based on the cards on the table, we had to cut up one part because I was like, I'm getting too descriptive of just a plot by plot, so I'm just gonna, like, go briefly over all of it. Basically, the movie ends with, like, a lot of different twists and turns happen, because that's why I don't want to get too mechanical, like just cause and effect, because it's too much. It's too bogged down. The movie's not even that long, so it gets kind of just boring, just having to beat by beat. So, like, basically, let me ask you this: and what stands out about it? Maybe the ending, or like, do you think the ending is hopeful towards marriage? Do you remember the very end of like?
It doesn't like okay.
There's kind of that reveal of like, so the three characters are the poor husband, the poor wife, and then the other doctor. He's the other doctor they've introduced.
Yes.
You guys all know him. At least you three know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The doctor who is the one who she has the dream with.
Yeah.
And not her husband, because remember they're both kind of doctors.
Okay. Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, this is the guy. This is his colleague. Yeah.
Yes. This is exactly why I don't want to talk about this whole movie like this.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? Because at least we'll talk about this last scene because it is important.
No, I fucking love. Oh yeah, no, yeah. I actually forgot about. This guy until right now.
Yes, exactly. He's the guy she dreams about.
Yeah,
dude, and that's the whole point. Like, none of the characters are desiring the same people, basically.
No, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about? Do you think Kubrick took some inspiration for Eyes Wide Shut?
I mean, dude, it's funny you said that because this Marriage Circle review I was reading, they quote the Oscar Wilde poem of marriage is a deception between all parties, and that quote is someone they say in the Eyes Wide Shut. The guy says that.
Because I was saying, well, also just doctor.
Yes.
And then Tom Cruise is the doctor in the movie.
Yes. Damn.
Kubrick. Okay.
No, because when I saw that quote, I was like, where did I see that? I was like, oh yeah, that he says that in Eyes Wide Shut too.
I guess
where,
Kubrick must have. It seems apparent.
it's something like the quote's like marriage is the only thing where deception is a necessity for all parties involved or something. And that's definitely what this if you believe that, that's what this movie's about.
Yes.
You know, but and this last scene is a great example of that because like the poor husband or kind of the naive husband, he doesn't believe that the wife would ever cheat on him. So he's kind of laughing at her when she's like, "I actually didn't dream this. I actually really did this." Yeah. And he's laughing at her, and he's telling his friend who knows it actually happened in real life to be like, "Oh yeah, just convince her that it was real." Basically, to go with her, even though I know it's not true.
Yeah.
And so he basically he basically allows the friend to cheat on basically kiss his wife, basically, because he's like, oh, she would never do it. And he's like, oh. Yeah. But basically basically convince her by saying it didn't actually happen.
Yeah, it sort of feels like he's kind of making fun of, like, the idea of it in a way. Like,
no, that's why. That's what I got from him is that it's like an arrogant laugh, but also just like a disrespectful laugh to your wife to assume that she's like so thinking only of you that she wouldn't do that. Like it's just so laughable that you do that. Yes. Whenever you're thinking of another woman, obviously this is
exactly. No, that's kind of what that's another theme of this movie too, is just pointing out that hypocrisy between what men expect to be able to do and not women.
Yes.
And like maybe even the naivety of women would not even think of doing that.
Yeah.
Which is more important, right? This whole movie is has been about him having all these temptations.
Yeah.
Right? But he doesn't think his wife would ever do anything like that. When obviously, as us as the audience have seen it, obviously that's not the case, and that's a theme over and over again in Lubitsch movies, which I love. And maybe to close it out is like another thing, especially with Ozu and Lubitsch, maybe less so with the Freshman I saw, but with these two is what I love about them is they treat all their characters on the same level, and that's kind of that certain detachment I was talking about earlier, but where they don't they don't privilege any one character in terms of this is the person we're supposed to root for. Yes. All of them have their own problems and their own solutions. Flaws, and you might like one of them more than another one, right? You might think one of them is more mean, but like the camera never thinks that. And that's what I love about both of them. And especially they have like maybe different sympathies. Like Lubitsch is maybe more harsh towards like kind of the sum of the people, and especially in this one where they're more like just. Especially the rich couple, he definitely doesn't like that much, probably. Yeah. But even then, like I said in that quote in the beginning, he does at the end of the day just see these as people with flaws. He's kind of just showing that. So, yeah, that's kind of what I love about the Marriage Circle. We'll go to the Freshman now. This one is more. This one's easier to just talk about because it's just like a few basic set pieces.
Yeah.
We don't have to go scene by scene, but we can do some of the major ones. And maybe because obviously I wanted to talk about a little bit is what do you see different or similar between Harold Lloyd and the Freshman and just maybe the other Harold Lloyd movies you've seen and Chaplin?
Well, I mean the only other Harold Lloyd movie I've seen is Safety Last, and so I feel like they're both very reliant on like set pieces, but like Safety Last is like a lot more high scale. I feel like. Because, he's, like, literally climbing a clock tower, basically, a lot of the movie. At least like, a good part of it.
Okay.
But, yeah, like, Chaplin, I feel like he's more concerned with the gag than Chaplin. I feel like he's more focused on that.
Okay. So more of the Keaton than Chaplin, maybe?
Yeah, in a way. But, like, even... maybe... I need to rewatch Keaton before I haven't seen Keaton in a while, but...
What about you, Blake? Have you seen... how many Harold Lloyd movies have you seen?
Well, I've only seen... Well, luckily, this is the first one I ever watched of Harold Lloyd. It was The Freshman this week. But,
I mean, it's mine too. So.
And then I watched The Sailor Man also.
Oh, okay.
Which is... It's something... They actually, this month, I guess, I had a Harold Lloyd section on Criterion, so I was just watching some of those also. Okay. Or at least Sailor Man.
They had a Buster Keaton one the other month. So
yeah. No, but... wait, what was the original question, though?
Like... between Chaplin, because we've done Chaplin, I asked that Chaplin. Okay, so like, because we did the series, so we did a series on Chaplin. So I mean, obviously we've watched a lot of Chaplin.
Yes.
And it's hard not to compare them in some ways. Like, what do you see? Do you see any similarities or differences between these two?
Between Chaplin and Lloyd, not a ton of similarities, honestly.
Okay.
They're just like. Well, I mean, like this, like similar gags.
Yeah,
and
the
shit,
kind of
but-
obvious ones, like
Yeah, kind of
Yeah,
obvious stuff.
yeah.
But like in terms of like themes and everything like that, definitely not.
No. Chaplin does not deeper, maybe. Yeah, honestly, Chaplin feels a little
He is
deeper,
deeper.
maybe a little more emotional.
That's what I was feeling.
Yeah.
You can tell why Lloyd was
But-
a bigger box office draw than Chaplin.
Oh,
Because
was
he's
that?
funny.
Is that true?
He's
That is true. That is true.
Even some of the earlier ones, like City
pretty
Lights.
sure-
and stuff?
I'm pretty sure I've seen that somewhere.
All right, I mean that would make sense, but
Yeah, like he was like, I think he might have been even like more like he was more like well known basically than Chaplin in the day.
okay.
I think I've seen that somewhere.
Okay.
But,
Okay, and then what about Ozu? Do you see? Because this one, I feel like maybe even less so than Lubitsch. It might, on the surface, might be hard to draw similarities.
the only really similarities I could draw was through two Ozu's comedies, basically. Like
Yes,
Ozu's,
yes. And that's really that's the more specific too.
Yeah.
But that's another feature about Ozu. Even his later movies, they always have comedy moments.
Oh yeah, definitely like
Especially with the kids
Yeah,
and
like
stuff.
Late Autumn too. It's not
Yes.
even like a specifically labeled comedy, but it's like really funny actually.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I mean, that's true with a lot of Ozu, and kind of what I like. You know, another reason why I picked these is Ozu would take a lot of these American genres or these American conventions, you know, of the comedy, and then use them for his own kind of, you know, his own stories
Yeah.
of different themes and stuff. But
Yeah. So something that like I feel like Ozu is thought of like tradition versus modernity kind of like
yes,
that's a big thing, and the Freshman I feel like is kind of like that too.
Okay.
And I while watching the Freshman, I thought of The Lady of the Beard a lot, which is one of Ozu's silent comedies, because that one's also a big time like tradition versus modernity thing. And the reason I say the Freshman's kind of like that is because it's like Harold Lloyd's this new modern type of man trying to be the traditional man that everyone wants him to be, and in the movie, the girl that likes him for who he is tells him like you need to just be you, and they'll like you for who you are basically.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to try to be someone you're not basically like
Yes.
that. But
Yes.
I don't know. I kind of liked him ripping off the guy's greeting in the movie.
no, the greeting's good, and that stays with him. I feel like I think that stays with him because they do that at the very end also.
Okay, yeah.
But-
And it stays with Ozu too, because I don't remember but he does it in a couple of silence, but some of the characters do that same jive.
yeah.
So I think it might be maybe in the one.
We honestly just need to pick it up, guys. We just
yes,
start
we
doing
might have to
every
start
time we
doing
see
that.
each
Bring it
other.
back.
Bring it back.
Doing it to random people in the
Yes.
public, you know?
Yes.
I'm Speed.
Yeah. But so maybe what Bordwell points out, and I haven't seen enough Lloyd, so I kind of have to trust him. And you guys have seen more than I have, but this is true even with Chaplin too. So it's kind of why I brought him up. But both Lloyd and Chaplin and Lubitsch, all three of them, is they cared about the script a lot in terms of everything had to flow kind of just from scene to scene. You know, like basically everything's really contained. You know, like it feels like very structured.
Yeah.
You know. And you can feel that with Ozu's movies too. Even if the stories are a lot different, they still feel very coherent.
Yeah.
You know, like very, I don't know, like tight is a good word for me. Like the narratives feel very tight.
Yeah.
But then another thing is like the comedy we mentioned is, and Blake mentioned this earlier when you said Lubitsch, but it also applies with Ozu, and it definitely applies with comedies. Is the way you follow people's eyes, you know, like reaction shots are really important in comedies, right? Because it's like not only the gag, but it's like the way someone someone
I
looks or
actually
something.
said that whenever we were editing out the part.
Oh, okay,
I bring it up.
okay, yes.
But yeah, no, that's the thing that I remember the most of the marriage circle, or the wedding circle, or whatever it's called, is how everyone's looking at everyone else basically,
Yes.
and not seeing them for like who
Yes.
they are basically. I don't know.
Yes, but not only so basically like, and what makes film so special in a certain way is, so not only are the characters looking at each other in the way they're looking, it's forcing us as the viewer to look at what the characters are looking at.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe what we're interested in personally. And that's honestly a little more true with Marriage Circle, but it's also true in this one in terms of maybe just a more physical comedy in terms of how important physical expression is.
Yes.
And honestly, like, because I don't remember the exact quote, and I'm going to have to bring it up next week, because Ozu said something where what he missed about the silent cinema was he said something like, in silent cinema there would be like maybe a gag in a Lloyd movie of a joke, and then the title card would come after explaining. And so almost like you would have to feel the emotion first, and then they would explain it to you. But when the talking cinema came, the words came first, and that was doing the explaining, right?
Yeah.
Before the emotion. And that's why he said he liked to leave a lot of time after people talked to let that sink in, almost like a comedy would do in reverse.
Damn. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's just like one good example of how Ozu was really influenced by silent films and stuff. Because he also does have like a still camera for the most part, and that's another feature with
Low to the
especially
ground,
yes, Low to the ground.
I don't know if silent comedies really use that though. That's
not Low to the ground. No way. No, that's an Ozu feature. I'm gonna bring that more up next week.
Okay,
So yeah. No, but I'm saying just single shot. Just showing everything that happened in front of you without cutting all across it and stuff. Letting what's happening in front of you just happen. Before it cuts.
I will say though, a lot of his early silent movies not like that.
That's a little more later.
He's finding his style.
No, he finds it more.
He finds it later on in silent movies because at least I think it started to change for me around A Woman of Tokyo or Woman.
Yes, it's around that period, 1932, 1933.
It started to become more like static or still camera. But like earlier, I was like, I didn't know. I was like, I didn't realize that Ozu moved his camera this much.
No, and
that's something you always hear is like, that was a still camera. But,
No, that's a good thing to point out too, because that relates to this episode. Is a lot of Ozu's early silence and the ones that we're not doing because we only have so much time. But a lot of when he was making his first silence and stuff, he was basically experimenting to see what he liked.
Yeah.
And the way he was getting these techniques from these types of movies, the early silent American cinema, is just to see how he could use these kind of techniques for his own kind of purposes. Yeah. And as we see, he as you just said, later on he started developing it more and more and became more rigorous like that, and he started to find his own rules basically. But so I think we can go right into the freshman with. But actually, before we get right in, I wanted to point out another thing that I think Blake would have definitely noticed, because it's true with more of Ozu's silence in his early films, more maybe than his later ones, and it's related to the freshman is. Ozu loved putting movie posters in his movies.
Oh, yeah.
And the movie posters would say something about the characters, too. Maybe even, like, way directly. Where, like, the characters maybe would have a scene very similar to the one in the movie or something.
Yeah.
And this one has a poster of the college hero.
Yeah.
And that's what's like, inspiring the character and stuff, too. And apparently, like, this movie specifically is where influenced Ozu a lot with that idea. And Ozu does it a lot, so...
Okay.
Yeah. Because apparently I think it's in I Graduated, but... one of the characters has a Speedy poster from the freshman.
I've seen I Graduated, but I had never seen the
you haven't seen the
before.
freshman.
Not a true Speedy fan.
Not a true Speedy. Oh, but now you are. Okay.
Now I am.
Yeah, I mean, this guy was basically the original Rudy.
Okay.
Because dude,
I mean, so dumb, but yeah.
Honestly, because my favorite part of the movie, maybe not my favorite part, but a part I love about this kind of whole like tight structures I was talking about. A word I love for it is efficient. And a great example of that is, okay, so we're at the last scene with the football scene and everything. And we'll go back for some other ones. We're at the last scene, and we already know he's bad. Okay?
Yeah.
And so all it does is cut to the fourth quarter right away.
Yeah.
And so, because we don't have to know, like, we know he's not going to play, basically, until he's got injuries and stuff. So it doesn't waste time with the whole game and showing, ups and downs of stuff we already know it's going to be close at the end. So it just cuts to the close at the end. Yes. But it cuts to what we already know. It's going to be a close game, and he's going to have to come in for some reason.
Yeah. And even though it's coach, they tried out their hardest to not get him on the field.
Yeah, and there's a funny joke where he thinks he's the one coming.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we just wanted your jersey.
Yeah.
But okay, of course I had to go right to them. But yeah, we should.
Okay, but do we think Rudy's a good movie though?
I haven't seen Rudy, so I can't say it.
I don't think it's good. And
I would have compared The Waterboy to this one.
I haven't seen The Waterboy. I'm just kidding.
It's not. I mean, he's actually good in The Waterboy though. No, because Taylor's character is actually good. But.
Okay, yes, because he is they
make him the water.
Yeah, they're based. He's the water boy. Yeah. But yeah, I think we can. The movie starts kind of like with him in his room, like he's like basically excited for college. He's a college kid, and that's where he does the jive and everything. And he has the college poster. Luke, was this what you were like before you went to college last year?
Not really.
It
was more just nervous energy.
You didn't have a jive.
That was
I was more
just transferred that nervous energy into making a job.
Yeah, I more internalized it.
Wow, I mean that's why you're not popular in college like you, like Speedy.
I try. I do this. I do the Speedy introduction to everyone I meet, and somehow no one's been friends with me. I don't get it.
Okay, I mean, so then obviously the dad was right when he says if he imitates that, they'll break his heart or his head in college.
Yes.
Because
That'd be
the dad's
fun.
reaction is so funny. He doesn't say
yeah, that's
anything to
hilarious.
him. He comes
Yeah.
out of the room and he's like, he tells his wife, he's like, okay,
Yeah.
if he does that, you know, he's fucking screwed.
Yeah.
And he was right. No, because this is what I'm saying. Like, I kind of love just like how like streamlined it is. It's okay.
Yes.
Now he's in college.
Yeah,
He's in the
there was
auditorium.
no time.
We get the gag of like.
Well, you missed that. You just skipped over the gag of him getting to the auditorium.
That's true. The train and
Yes,
everything.
yes.
Yeah, and of course he meets the love of the movie, the romantic interest of the movie, and everything.
Which I forgot. They made the woman think they're actually like a couple.
Yeah, because they're playing crossword.
Yes,
And they're like, what word for lover? It's like a
for like person you love or something.
yeah. And then the woman, all that.
They're like
freaking-
darling,
Yeah.
my love,
Dearest.
It's a good. It's a good. It's a
like,
fun.
is it love great?
No, because that's what I'm saying. Where it is kind of it's a little self-aware. Where it's like, we get it. She like. It doesn't spend too much time like making you buy into their romantic interest because you know that's what the movie obviously is calling for. She's gonna be the romantic lead because it says like I think it introduces her with the title card like a woman your mother used to be or something.
Yes,
like basically like okay you're already sold. You know if you say
Yeah.
something like that like you know she's already a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you know the crossword thing obviously gives away that they're going to be the romantic leads in it.
Genius way to do that. By the way.
Yeah.
Like, I would never think of that.
No, and then wait what. Think of,
Using the crossword, that's like so genius.
okay, yeah, no, it's a good way. It's a good way. No, because and then the train lands and like we
Lance.
lands. Wait, stops. Okay.
Yeah.
It comes down from the sky. It's
It's the Harry Potter train. Like,
Harry Potter train. That one's on rails, dude.
You excited for the
No,
TV series?
No. That's gonna be bad.
You guys are both Potterheads.
No.
I'm a Potter.
What?
But not Potter.
Yeah.
I do love Harry Potter, but not
Exactly,
Harry
you're a
Potter.
Potter.
I like
You do.
Harry.
You talk about it a lot. Damn.
No, I don't.
You bring it up at least once a week, probably.
Okay, that's
The movies are good.
Some of them are really good.
Are they good?
The third one's like amazing.
Okay, we're off topic. We'll have to do it when the series comes out. We'll have to do a binge watch or something. You know.
You're not gonna do that.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way I could do that. No. No, but this is something. This is when the train stops is another good example of just very quick introductions to the characters. Like we get the dean's the evil guy. You know, it says something like he never wants to get married because he didn't want his wife to call him not the dean, basically.
And then the bullies that immediately
the bully
see him,
too,
and like
yes,
immediately
yes.
you can tell like they're gonna focus in on him.
Yep,
too.
exactly. The bully and the dean, right? So we have the love interest, the
And also
bully
the
and the dean,
big star football player too.
and the star. Well, he's the bully.
bully.
Oh yeah, and the star football
football
player.
player,
Yes.
yes.
All those characters introduced, and we know them immediately, basically.
Yeah, and I love because he sees because the star football player it's seen he's on the same train as him. He
Yes,
gets out and
yes.
sees him like getting like swarmed because he's like
he's
come out.
popular.
And he like goes up like he like walks up because everyone gets distracted all of a sudden, and then he walks up and starts doing the jig thing, and then immediately gets like run over by everyone again, coming back to him like.
No, but yeah. So and then the scene ends with a funny gag of like the bully character like convincing Lloyd to get into the dean's car.
Yeah, because he's like,
Yeah.
have you booked your car yet? Or, did you book a car to get to the college?
No, that's a good joke. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like this whole like gag extends to the auditorium.
Yeah, because he gets there late and he's backstage. Of course, he's trying to be a good guy, save a cat.
Very cute cat.
You know, they open the stage, they
Yeah,
open the
yeah.
curtains. They open the curtains right when he's trying to save the
Everyone's
cat.
laughing,
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I would think that's like really funny though. Because everyone was kind of making fun. I couldn't. Really
They
tell.
were, but
Yeah, then they start laughing at the end. I feel like.
no, because the end with the cat and the kitten in his shirt,
Yes, okay,
and then the cat starts meowing and stuff, and then the kitten gets out, and everyone's still laughing.
I would think
so.
that guy's dope though. If I saw that, that's the coolest guy.
It was
I've ever
cool.
seen,
It was
honestly.
cool.
Like,
But this is kind of like the point where it's like, we see him get embarrassed, but we never see it like resolved. You know, where it's not
Yeah.
like, okay, now he gets what he wants at the end, kind of thing.
Yeah.
He does get the love interest, so I will say there is maybe a little resolution for the audience. But like in terms of him being a cool character,
Well,
at
that's
the end
what I
of
was
something,
saying. Is like he went from, or like that was
Like
the
you were
connection
saying, yes,
to me
yes.
with Ozu. Is like he went from being what everyone wanted him to be to like
To
being
more of
what-
acceptance,
like,
kind
yeah,
of thing.
accepting himself for who he is
Yes,
first and
yes.
foremost. Which I haven't seen enough late Ozu, but I don't know if that's like a huge part. I've seen Tokyo Story in the
but-
spring, but I feel like that's part in both of those. Is a character struggling with like, should they continue doing this because it's tradition, or should they be what they actually want to be?
Yes,
do what they
yes.
actually want to do. So
Yes. Yeah, I guess the freshman's like a way more lighter example.
Yes,
of that.
exactly.
Yes. No, I can definitely see that though. Yeah, because the scene ends with like, this is where the characters are in different worlds than we're seeing as the audience, because he thinks all the people like him after this scene, where he's like, he like does the jig to all 5 of them, and he thinks it's actually working, and they're all like making fun of him.
It's kind of okay.
It's a little sad.
I immediately got flat to a Lubitsch movie. To be or not to be, when they do the excessive amount of Hail Hitlers. Somehow that really like just gave me the same vibe. Continue. My brain went another like different.
I'm gonna have to watch that scene again, because I'm like, how did you?
Because like the excessive amount of doing it.
Throughout the movie, yes, them, repetitions and stuff. Yes. But that's another thing with both of these movies, where they'll bring up the same like Borwell calls it motifs, where they bring up the same kind of images or objects or words or phrases over and over again. So honestly, the reason why you just remembered that right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like. Oh, okay. Where were we on the movie?
You just greeted out of the 5 guys at once.
Okay, yeah, and now he's like, honestly, because I wanted to mention this scene too. This is the kind of the first scene where we really see them in love, with her in the room with him. Remember where the buttons come undone and she's like buttoning them? Where it's like low key erotic in the scene, because like it's a comedy, but the way like if you look at where her hands are, where she's buttoning, and like where their eyes are. It's like it's very tense, like for a fucking like damn, like I can't believe this is a comedy. But yeah, like it's like that. That's the reason why that scene's in there. It's like basically like a 20 sex scene, basically.
Wasn't this movie like a huge box office success as well, or something?
The
Freshman? Yeah, wasn't like a huge.
I don't know. I didn't. Honestly,
I thought someone said that at some point, like before.
But I don't remember how. But he like. Starts, but basically, is it because the friends or like his friends they start planting stories of him being popular or something? Because this is where the newspaper it cuts like a newspaper, where this is like a classic early Hollywood thing of using the newspaper to show exposition. Yeah. But this is like a college newspaper. It's like, why would they even care about this in the first place? Because it says that funny one. I had to read it. It's Speedy the Spenders, the frisky freshman, is just a regular fellow who's leaving a trail of empty ice cream cones on his dizzy dash to popularity.
And the rhyme schemes there and the like alliteration. Wow, I gotta respect it. Yeah, very very 1920s humor.
It definitely was a box office success.
But like, what was it?
Well, back in the day, 2.6 million is a lot.
Okay.
Because that's what I was saying. Like I think Harold Lloyd was a bigger box office draw than Chaplin.
I mean, Chaplin had a lot, 10 millions in there. I'm pretty sure too.
Yeah, he was very popular. That's what.
He was
that's
like
a good question.
Because we know box office.
Well, I mean, like Chaplin was a big enough box office success that him and a few other people started their own studio.
I've heard that somewhere. Though,
like the United Artists.
Because we all know if you have more box offices, you're the better filmmaker. So
exactly.
But I guess they would kind of say like who was more popular between the two. You know. Yeah. I can see what you're saying, but
I swear I've heard that.
But basically, he becomes somehow like at least he starts to become popular. But someone tells him you won't be truly popular until you join the football.
Well, he's only popular because he's spending all his money.
Yes, that's why he's the that's why he's Speedy the Spender. Yeah, because that's why he has to move into the the poor apartment too. Yeah,
because he's
blowing all his money. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. No, but yeah, this is where we get to the whole football practice. Where he basically becomes a dummy.
A tackle dummy, yeah.
Tackle dummy. I think because the picture I think I'm going to use for the episode is it's oh man, it's so good because when they like basically that dummy would have been fine. Yes. If they kept using it, because it only has like a leg missing or something.
Yeah.
But because there's a funny shot where like he's like after he's been beat up a few times, he's like laying down and he gets up with his knee bent. And he sees like the leg, like his knee is bent backwards.
Yeah.
But the leg from the dummy is forward, but it's like right next to him, so he thinks it's its own leg for a second. Yeah. That's like bent the wrong way, like basically broken. Yeah, it does look like, and he freaks out when he looks at it. He freaks out just for a second. Oh, it's so funny, dude. But this is basically just a lot of visual comedy of the way they introduce the football scene is where men are men and next are nothing, and then it says when it introduces the coach, it says so tough he shapes the blowtorch.
Yeah,
just some great one-liners. See, we need more. This is, honestly, comedy was probably made for the silent cinema too, because like
Kind of, for sure.
at least this is my type of humor.
This is my type of humor.
I mean,
he takes. Okay, do you think he's actually him taking these hits?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
Harold Lloyd, I think, did most of his stunts. So.
That would make that up. I mean, like,
because it looks like he's actually taking these tackles too.
I mean,
I mean, they probably aren't full ass tackles, but
they're speeding up the film or something after.
Well, I mean, it's already
definitely are speeding.
Well, that's true.
It's higher frames or
yeah.
But no, I'm just saying, like, they're probably not actually hitting that hard. Like, but he's probably falling.
He definitely did his stunts. Like, I mean, like if this was Buster Keaton, you would know he's taking all the shots. Like,
okay, Keaton, we knew that. Yeah.
But I feel like Lloyd. I mean,
it does look like him.
Not Keaton level,
yeah, it does look like him. Yeah,
I'm sure. I'm sure it was him.
But yeah, the scene ends. Basically, they like we mentioned, he gets tricked into being Waterboy once again. Like the characters all think, at least the main character in this one thinks something else than what the audience knows.
Yeah.
But they the college paper basically tells us he has to throw a party to become even more popular. Oh my God. So that's where he throws the fall frolic.
Well, and I do like because somewhere in here, I'm pretty sure it's like somewhere in between these scenes, we see him like go back to his Speedy poster and like put his picture above Speedy. Do you guys remember this?
Yes.
Because I love it, because it leads to one of my favorite shots in the movie later on. Whenever it's after like the fall party, he's gotten embarrassed and all that, and the wind blows the picture into the trash can, like his picture in the trash can.
He thought he surpassed his master.
No, exactly. That's why I love that shot, because I'm pretty sure it happens like before the fall festival thing.
That's a great.
Because I'm pretty sure, or the fall whatever, frolic. The fall frolic.
This is the fall frolic. Every time.
But yeah, because I think it happens like somewhere in here where he puts his picture above the poster.
That is good. But, no, because this scene reminds me a little of a Chaplin energy of like yes. What's the scene with where he's like has the pot like the duck?
Yeah, the gold rush. No.
He has the what?
He's like carrying the duck around on top like the.
No, that's
the duck around.
Modern Times, I think.
Wait, he's carrying the duck around.
It's some kind of food. The roast duck that gets stuck in the
chandelier.
I
do not.
Well, it's like everyone's dancing and stuff.
Everyone's dancing. I love that.
Because this one is at least it has some kind of similar energy where it's like the bell. For some reason, they're like the tailor's like, okay, I'll ring this bell anytime your suit tears or something, so you know. But then someone else also has a bell at their table for when they want a waiter, and that's the bell that keeps ringing. And Lloyd is like, oh shit! After he realizes, he's like, oh okay, it's just this guy ringing the bell. I'm not gonna believe the bell anymore. And then that's when his suit starts to break. That's when his suit breaks. Like right after that, it's like okay, that's like something that would happen to the Tramp too. I feel like.
No, that felt like very Tramp-like scene.
Yes. No, but basically, this is the scene where he ends up. He realizes. At least somewhat.
He realizes people aren't laughing with him; they're laughing at him.
Well, that's what the bully tells him.
Yeah.
But do you think he realizes it in this scene? Because he does at least he fully commits to the girl.
Well,
I think they kiss at the end of this one.
No, this is the scene where the girl tells him that he needs to stop being.
She tells him that, but he also says, "Okay, but I can still have one last chance. Let me play in the football game." So I don't know if he still accepted it fully. He's
grasping on to like those last bit of hope.
Yes, exactly. Like it's honestly like I said, like
it's
honestly that male ego he's still holding just a little bit on,
but he has at least realized that people don't respect him. Obviously.
Yes.
So
he's not who
that's true. That's true. That fall has at least happened.
And the falls
because when that boy yells,
picture falling in the trash can.
The bully yells something like that at him, doesn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
Like basically knowing like, you think you're a regular, you're nothing but a college boob.
Yeah, you're nothing.
And in the 1920s, that was like insane. Yeah. Like that was basically that would have been rated X in today's society kind of thing.
Wait, college boom or
boob?
Oh, I was like really confused.
No, college boob. You think you're a regular, you're nothing but a college boob.
Dang. I don't know. He can't come back from that. Honestly.
Well, he does. That's what this last scene is. That's what the redemption, kind of like. I mean, I talked about it earlier.
If this wasn't a movie, he would never come back.
No, but dude, I kind of love these stadium shots when the movie the scene opens. Amazing, yeah. Like they definitely filmed that at actual game. At least I don't know how they would have not filmed that at actual game.
Or just like got like. Yeah, I'm honestly curious. Like, did they like get like a bunch of extras, or they like just like. hey, at halftime we're just gonna film this like.
Well, there's a couple. From what I think, there's a couple. Like the initial opening shots of the scene are real life football game.
Okay.
And they just went there. And then there's certain shots where you can tell they're just filming the stadium and maybe some extras on the side or something. But then every once in a while they'll cut to the actual stadium that has a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they kind of just intercut between with those. No, but it does a good job of making you feel like you're a football game.
There's a line in this movie where doesn't one of the characters say, what's the university name? Trenton University, was it, or Drexler University?
I don't know.
He said they someone said
Tate, I think.
Tate. Oh yes, Tate University.
Yes.
Is a football stadium with a college attached to it. Because isn't that
someone says that?
Yeah, I think so. Doesn't someone say that in the movie?
That's fun. Okay, that still applies
today.
That's even more today.
Applies even more today.
Yeah, I was saying because going to college in the South, that's like literally.
Yes.
And another thing that applies is I already mentioned earlier where he gets in the game eventually. We're cut to the fourth quarter. It's a close game. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then when he gets knocked out for the first time, like in the first play, he gets stretchered off. But then he comes right back on. Yeah. It's like, okay, that still applies today too, you know.
I mean, isn't there a scene where Chaplin gets stretchered out in something or like
boxing?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I was like, Chaplin got stretchered out at some point.
See, there's nothing as like rhythmic and poetic as like that boxing scene. In this one at least, but I mean, I haven't seen a lot of.
I mean, the last run back to get the touchdown. Is
yes.
Like that's Tom Brady doesn't have those moves. I'm just saying.
And there's some great shots, like some cutaways of like the one I really love is when he's trying to catch. So first of all, this coach is dumb as fuck because like what position he's playing. He's a center at one time. He's a guard. He plays different positions on the line. He plays tight end. He plays running back. Yeah. He plays receiver, punt returner. Doesn't know the rules. No, but there's a great shot of when he's like, there's a couple great dizzy shots. Like it's like we're getting a little experimental. Whereas like there's one where he's on the line and there's like. We see like the guy kind of like hazy, where like two shots are kind of going like.
Well, see, that's actually in Sailor Made Man too.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah, because, that's same. They actually in Sailor Made Man, it's all about this rich kid whose dad tells him like if you don't get a job, you're not going to get the inheritance, like your $20 million inheritance. So he's just trying to find a job, and he looks at looks at this Navy enlisting office, and he walks in there and thinks, "I think I'll join your Navy," and then like he leaves, and then comes back and says, "I think I'm not going to join your Navy," and the recruiter's like, "I think you are," and then he grabs him and throws him in there. But then like whenever they're doing the physical and everything, for some reason they start spinning him to like test his some
physical fitness test.
Yeah. Then they left and expected him to stop, and he just kept on spinning. So it just uses that effect. Like whenever the doctor actually comes in, he thinks he's drunk. Okay. But it shows a shot of the doctor, and it's got the three heads and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I love
just
those
like
too.
that.
Yes. No, because the other example is when he's returning the football on the punt return. You see like 5 of them all lined up. I'm like, and I'm pretty sure they just like filmed like a shot where 5 footballs are like lined up, but it looks like, and from his perspective, he's dizzy.
Were those footballs? I thought so. Oh.
No, because there's also a part where he like catches a hat and he runs into a touchdown.
Yeah, that was hats. Yeah, I thought it was hats that were in the air.
Was it hats that are 5 in the air?
I think people threw hats up in the air.
No, it's one guy that throws the hat.
Oh, okay.
And it's the same guy. It's the same guy that.
For some reason, I didn't think it was footballs. I thought that some people threw stuff up in the air, and that's why he was having trouble like finding the ball. But regardless,
I don't know if multiple people. I might have missed something. One of us missed something.
Yeah,
I don't
know.
We'll have to see. Either way, there's a great shot of him dizzy trying to catch something, and it's like you see 5 of them when it's only supposed to be 1, but they're all 5 of them are really there in the shot. So.
Yeah. Wait, are you talking about? Oh, I think we're talking about different scenes actually, because I thought you were talking about the punt return, but you're talking about whenever he catches the pass.
Maybe it's not.
Whenever he catches the pass, he does see the 5.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about then. Maybe, yeah.
Because that's after he just got knocked out.
Yes. Okay.
Great catch, by the way.
Yeah, and then like he's breaking tackles. Is this the final touchdown too?
The punt return?
No, catching the pass.
No.
What's the final touchdown?
The final touchdown is so dumb because. He keeps on running because he hasn't realized the rules, and like whenever the whistle's blown, you have to like the play's dead.
Yes.
And so the ref sturdily tells him like, whenever I blow this whistle, you drop that ball no matter what. And so whenever he's like on a breakaway run or whatever, a different whistle blows, and so he's like, "Ah, shit!" And he like puts the ball down like right at the 1 yard line, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" Because they almost won, and then that's whenever they like something happens.
Everyone fumbled. Everyone like
literally everyone after that started fumbling because then
he
goes back and forth.
He picks it up and then goes the other way and like
Yeah.
gets around everyone on one guy.
Yeah.
And technically he breaks the rule, unless this is like rules from the 1920s, because he does go down. He goes down multiple times, but he like gets back up. No, he definitely does.
Refs are blind, bro.
But to be fair, we don't know the 20s rules.
Refs were still really bad back in the day, you know.
No, they were.
Would you add Lloyd to your fantasy team?
I mean, yeah, like if he's gonna play all these different positions, fuck, all he needs to get is learn the rules. He was not that bad.
I mean, Taysom Hill's a quarterback and tight end.
Let's not turn this into a fantasy. That's my worst nightmare.
We do get the great visual gag of like the face paint on his face to like show that he's in the end zone after he's like at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, see, why don't we just make, instead of having sensors in the ball, why don't we just make the paint even more prominent so that you can see it like every time someone lands on it. You know what I'm talking about? Like whenever if the ball's over, the ball just have a paint stripe on it.
But like still, that wouldn't really
because
help.
the paint comes out. It comes up.
But then you're getting paint on shoes and stuff, and like.
And then, what if someone goes down, but then
there should be a sensor or something though.
No, there needs to be a sensor. I was just kidding, but because soccer already has that. But yeah.
Or just or maybe a really thin line or something like a string.
A string.
But it makes a noise. It makes a noise or something when it breaks. You can only see it on like a camera or something like that.
They just need what every heist movie has, like what every safe has in a heist movie. Just have a laser.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
We solved it. There you go.
And the team gets to choose what sound makes when it goes through or something.
That's a great.
Like the stadium makes some loud ass noise.
You just brought up what a hockey.
No, like the Buccaneers.
Yeah, but see, hockey they have it right because like it is hard to tell if it goes in the goal. I guess
because like each team has a different buzzer. For their goal.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you're at the Buccaneers game or something. Someone crosses the end zone, and then you don't know yet. But the way you figure out is the cans behind you start going off, and then you figure out it's a touchdown.
Yes, exactly. That's literally what I was thinking of because I love the Buccaneers ones. Yes, but like every team should have their own like kind of sound, basically. Yes, and that relates to Ozu. I mean, I don't know, but
Ozu probably likes sports. Certain sports.
There's some baseball.
He likes baseball.
Yeah,
definitely.
Sure.
I think there's some baseball in some of his movies.
Well, he definitely has baseball.
Okay, yeah.
Two of the three hosts on this podcast like baseball. Well, one of them.
One and a half, maybe 1.5.
Yeah. I'm like kind of
which is more zero.
I mean, I'm kind of down on home sports right now, so it's.
Well, okay, let's not go too far. Calm down.
I'm talking for myself though.
No, calm down. Don't say that.
You're a Bulls fan. That's the only reason.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, what's the score? Don't check.
I'm a Bulls Leafs.
Oh, you're unhappy right now.
But Bulls Leafs Cardinals fan, so I'm depressed. Anyway.
Yeah, see, I don't know. Okay, but we should mention the last shot of this one though.
Yeah.
Because we got off topic, but the last shot of the freshman is pretty good of where he's in the locker room, but it's like there's rain on him from the shower as he reads like a note from his girlfriend.
Yeah.
As the movie ends. So yeah, it's a pretty.
Doesn't he starts jigging up all the boys too? Doesn't he?
No, everyone else has started jigging up.
Yeah,
yes. Okay, yeah, that's true.
He's
even the dean does it too, I think.
Yeah. Does he do it? Okay.
Yeah, I think the dean does. So that's how you know he's truly won at the end.
Yeah.
He's become the college hero. That's the movie poster he has. That's what? That's literally true. What? Boo! Yeah, though. Speedy the Speeder won.
Yeah, I thought it was
Speedy the Spender.
Or Spender. Speedy the Spender. But yeah, I think we can end it there. We're gonna get more deeper into maybe just some background into Ozu specifically next week. I kind of just wanted to I wanted to talk maybe about more of the silence, and since we don't think of Ozu as a silent cinema director as much, like as I mentioned at the beginning, I kind of wanted to at least give us a little context of how he was inspired majorly by silent cinema, even throughout all of his movies. So yeah, we'll go into more next week with the two films that I've picked. And I picked, because I think all the later episodes I'm doing ones, like I can start to tell like I'm just picking them because I've watched them first, not necessarily because I think they're the best ones.
Yeah.
The first two I want to do at least ones I haven't seen. So I'm doing two ones that look really interesting to me because of maybe some of these aspects that we've talked about in related to the American movies we talked about this week, are Tokyo Chorus and Dragnet Girl. So 2 Silent Ozus. Blake, you said you've seen one?
I've seen Dragnet Girl, and I don't remember.
And you haven't
I've seen Walk Cheerfully, which is also kind of a gangster movie.
Yes. No, that was before this one.
But I haven't seen Dragnet Girl yet.
Okay,
so.
okay. But yeah. Until then, next week, I hope to see you floating through the clouds.